Here we are. It's showtime for the Joe and Sid exploration and adventure. What's our theme today, Joe? Where are we going? What are we doing?
I don't know. I think the biggest part that's been around all day has been just a flatness, just a feeling of flatness and um, kind of unfulfilled. Um, yeah, just a bit meh, just, yeah, and it's been around for a while, actually. It's not just today, it's been around for a little while. I'm not sure if that's two parts or one part.
So what about that? What about flatness, unfulfilled, just a general meh? Is there you find like an interest and a fascination? It's like, wow, what's that?
Mm. Yeah, so sometimes I think that low part, the flat part, feels really strong, almost like that is my state. And it takes sort of sitting back into awareness to realize that it's not, because it's kind of there all the time, but not kind of really unhappy, but just like, yeah, just a bit like, yeah, I don't know how to explain it really. Just a bit meh is the only word I can think of it really. It's a bit like,
Let's see, when this flatness is here, is it like, oh, I just want to sit back and not do anything, watch TV, go to bed? Is it what's it like? What's it like in this body? What's it like when this flatness is here?
yeah, it's just kind of can't be bothered. Like, um, sort of, even just like talking to friends is just a bit, it's an effort. It seems like an effort. Um, and yeah, just really kind of noticing how I can almost fall into that. It feels like a big part at the moment, and not notice all the wonderful things.
Yes. And so let's see if we can discern the voices that come up that see this as a problem. Like maybe there's what, well, we need to heal this, we need to get past this. What is this? Like, why is this happening? Why does this continue to happen? Or maybe a critic, like I shouldn't be like this. I shouldn't have that reaction to being on the phone with friends or to the day. What are the voices that come up in response to this
Definitely,
flatness?
yeah, there's an inner critic, definitely. It's yeah, saying that, this, you should be happy, you should be joyful. It's you're going to turn into a hermit if you don't want to go out. Yes, it's a very critical part.
And when we're just as we start there with the critical part, where do you can you track like where you hear that voice or where you feel it?
Yeah, it's over here. It always, that part comes from this side, like it just kind of just outside of me.
Got it. Beautiful. And so when there's this flatness here, what else comes? What are the other responses to it?
So what's coming now is like almost a little, like a feeling of like a part that's feeling despair, because there's like a fixer. I think there's like a fixer part coming, like it wants to fix it and put it right and make me happy and make me safe. And
So this fixer part, we can fix this, make Joe happy, make Joe safe. How do you notice that? How are you aware of that? Is it like a voice, a sensation, an image? How are you aware of the fixer part?
that's Well, the despair part is like an energy that comes from my heart. Yeah, and I think that the fixer part feels over like this side.
And then the despair. The despair also, it seems like it's a response to the flatness, or does it feel like the flatness itself, a response to it?
Yeah, as response to it, I think. Yeah, it's when it notices it, when it because like the I think the low part's there most of the time at the moment, and when that part notices it, it kind of sinks deeper. So it kind of starts here, and it kind of seems to drop down into my stomach, and it's like a it feels like an exhausted part because it's kind of been doing its job trying to make me happy, and or is that part? I think all my parts feel quite exhausted, to be honest. It just feels that we've been on a constant journey to be happier, be safer, be better, be different, just to I feel like that my own I almost like my entire life has been like that. And they're yeah, they all just kind of feel a bit what else can we try? What else can we do?
We're hearing kind of three parts that are working so hard. What else can we try? What else can we do? This happiness, this okay-ness. Define that, and we've got the critic on the right side outside of you. There's a sense of this is despair in the heart that just kind of drops down and it's exhaustion. And then there's a fixer part on the kind of the left side to try to resolve it. So as we're aware of can we discern those from the flatness itself? That there's a flatness here, and then there's these precious parts that are like responding to it and wanting Joe's life to be happier, better, more fulfilled, more okay. Inner critic, the despair, the fixer.
Yeah, I can feel them separately.
Is it okay that they're here? That Joe has these parts that arise that that want things to be better, that want more happiness here.
I guess it is okay, but the fixer part that wants it all to go away is kind of like feels stronger, and it almost feels a bit manic. Like what else can we do? Like kind of like a bit like a meerkat, like just sort of scanning for the thing that's going to make the difference.
Yeah.
So that
What
part.
does it want? This fixer part that's just like, okay, we got to find something. We got to do something. We got to find something. Come on, find something. What is it that it wants? This fixer part.
So it wants me to feel happy and connected and loved and safe.
And as you're aware of this fixer part, that sounds like it's pretty active in your system, kind of loud and trying to work towards this happiness, this connectedness, this being loved and safety. Can you find appreciation for its intent? What it's trying to do for Joe, this fixer part? Yeah. Nice. And at the very beginning, you spoke about the flatness, and you spoke about there was like able to I forget how you said it, like stepping back, like stepping back, being aware of the flatness, but then there was also awareness of whatever we're calling it, like being, self, whatever, that there was something else here too. What's your experience of that?
So that usually feels just really open and spacious and aware, but like alert. There is still a heaviness to that, because I feel that part's quite kind of blended. It's like, so that awareness still feels here, but even that feels heavy.
Where do you find it, Joe? Where do you find the awareness?
It's everywhere. The awareness is like, I used to think I was aware around from here, but now I kind of feel aware from everywhere.
Nice. And if you were to, and there's a heaviness that pervades the awareness, and then, but what else do you find that's in that awareness? Is it an openness? Is it an aliveness? Is it a stillness? Is it a peace? Is it a love? What are your flavors of this awareness that is kind of pervaded with heaviness right now?
Yeah, there's a peacefulness, it's calm. It's almost like a feeling of expectancy. Like an alertness. And also there's like a softness to it as well. And a very kind of present sort of feeling with it. Like a very like here and now type feeling.
Here and now presence, softness, alertness, expectancy, calm, peaceful awareness here. That's all around, here and now, here and now. And then there's flatness. Are we able to have any discernment between these qualities of this beingness that's here, and then this flatness that just always seems to be here too? How do we discern? How do we make sense of that in Joe's system?
So the awareness is aware of the heaviness, the flatness.
It's aware of it. There's a sense of being able to, what is it? Like, as it's aware of it, like, where is the flatness? Where is the heaviness that it's aware of?
So it's here. It's all around my chest area. There's even a physical pain, which there is a reason for the physical pain, but I feel it where that physical pain is.
Great. So there is some sense of location, of localizing of the flatness and the heaviness, that it's like it's kind of around my chest area, and there's sensations associated with it.
Mm.
And if I was to ask you if it's okay, first off, from the perspective of the awareness, from this expectancy, this alertness, this calm, this softness, this presence, from this here now, from this presence, this awareness, this object that we're aware of, this flatness, this heaviness, it's showing up in the chest, and there's sensations associated with it. From the perspective of awareness, is it a problem that this is here?
No. No, it almost feels like it's expanding around it to bring it more space, like in a welcoming type way.
Mm. Beautiful. We're aware of this. It's kind of expanding around. It's around it. It's here now. It's presence. Sense of a welcoming. This that is aware of the heaviness and the flatness in the chest. We also notice this that isn't okay with the heaviness and the flatness. These parts, and we just named 3, and there are probably more, but that they're parts that aren't okay with this. There's this fixer that's perhaps the loudest one. And then there's this critic. And there's this despair. And can we just notice that they're two expressions, they're being met, this flatness, this heaviness is being met by both this awareness, this welcoming, this is okay, this is here now. And it's also being responded to by parts. We're playing with 3 right now: the despair, the critic, and the fixer. How is that? Is that how are you with all of that? It's a whole lot, Joe. How are you with all of that?
Well, it's the presence, the awareness feels much bigger. It almost feels like the other parts at the moment have kind of dissolved into that. Like I'm not feeling the sense of each of those parts very strongly at all.
As there's maybe a remembrance, or they don't, in this effortless IFS and IFS, it's like the parts never fully disappear. They just kind of, sometimes their burden is lessened. Sometimes there's an unburdening, but they get to continue being here with us. And just, even if they carry a heavy charge of a burden, and just to notice from awareness, from this presence, how are we with these parts that are like, gosh, I really want to fix this. I want more happiness for Joe. I want more peace. I want parts that are the fixer part. I want more connection. I want more love for Joe. How is awareness with that? How are you with that part being here, with that fixer being here?
From this space, I'm fine. It feels okay. It doesn't feel threatening. It doesn't feel exhausting. I don't feel quite so blended with that low energy at the moment. So it's like they're a bit quieter. This is the beingness feels much more loving,
Nice.
accepting.
Can we
But
sense from here? Sorry.
I was just going to say, but I know that I feel like I could kind of easily wake them up. It's like they're just kind of sat. It feels like they're almost just kind of just sat back, like relaxing, but
Yeah.
they're kind of off duty for 5 minutes, it feels, but they're definitely still there.
Yes, yes. Off duty, relaxing. Can we, from here, can we see the innocence of these parts that we talked about, how they were trying to help, like this fixer that's looking for, this wants more happiness for Joe, wants more connection, it wants more love, it wants more safety for Joe. Can we see the sweetness and dearness of that, of this innocent part that's working so hard?
Yeah, I can, yeah. Feel like sort of compassionate towards those parts, and I can sense the it feels like the exhaustion of them having worked so hard for so long.
Earlier, it was almost like there was this exhausting, constant journey to find more happiness, more safety, for things to change. Keep trying to get more happiness, more safety, more connection, more joy for Joe. Sometimes it sounds harsh, right? Because you also named this critic that is like, you should be doing something different. Like, can we even see the innocence in that, and the desperation of the critic that's trying, wants things to be better, wants things to not be so difficult, want there not to be that weight, that flatness, for there to be more joy? Can we see the innocence in that?
Mm. Yeah, I really feel that everything that all of those parts do are just absolutely doing their best to help me, and what they think, to do what they think that they have to do to make me happy and safe and feel connected.
Great. I'm curious about where we would be most helpful for us to go from here, because we're wanting this to be so real life, where, well, this presence, this awareness that's kind of, there's a fullness of it right now, this okayness that's here, this here and now. But like an hour from now, tomorrow morning, there might be like the flatness, the heaviness is back. Oh, and really feeling the pervasiveness of it. And these parts are really loud. It's like, we got to find some relief from this. We have to find something different. And this is like we're practicing together to get a sense of this simultaneous awareness of self, simultaneously the self, this presence that's here, along with parts, and along with the flatness and heaviness. Like, we're wanting to explore Joe's capacity, where all can be here, all can be here. And where do we want to go? What's going to be most helpful for Joe, so this is real and really helpful in your life?
I think there's a so when you said all that, then I could feel the parts kind of rising a little bit, um and there's definitely the strong not wanting this to be here part. So I guess it's how do I
Would that be like a spiritual achiever? Like, I don't want all that noise to be here. What would that be, the fixer part and not wanting it to be
yeah, it
here?
would be
What's
the
that?
fixer part, which has got a very strong spiritual achiever part in there, definitely. So I guess it would be like to have acceptance of all of that and still know that I'm okay. And and just acceptance of all those parts and all those sensations and feelings in my body, and I'm not get caught up in them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's like being able to let go of this like utopia, you know, this utopia visualization that of this imaginary future where everything is perfect and I'm perfect, and I feel that kind of vision, the vision that I've created, is what causes all of my suffering, because I'm constantly measuring myself up to that and never feeling that I'm anywhere near.
What holds that imaginary visualization, the utopian visualization of like everything's perfect, I'm perfect? What can you find? Where does that come? What part carries it in your system? Where do you hear that? What is that?
So that would be the spiritual seeker part, which now feels different to that part. It feels like more like around here. So it's like a yeah, it's like the part that is kind of constantly striving to learn more about spirituality and try this exercise and that exercise.
Yeah.
I think so I've just found out that I've got ADHD, and that kind of feels like a bit of an ADHD part. It feels a bit like, but from a spiritual perspective, like it's kind of like, this is the goal, this is where we want to go, this is what we need to do.
Can we like just celebrate that part for a moment? It's like, wow, the part that has a vision of like this utopia, this like, wow, this is what peace could look like. This is where Joe could be. This is what happiness might look like. This is what connection, this is what flow and life might look like. It's like, can we see the sweetness in this spiritual seeker that might drive other parts of Joe crazy, but it's like just there's a sweetness in that. Or from this awareness, from this presence, from this here now, like we just taste the sweetness of what this part is wanting for Joe.
Yeah, just about. There's, I'm trying to think what part is that, whether it's this sense of exhaustion of all of the parts. There's just a bit of like, oh, just shut up, everybody, like just
Would that be like the fixer? This is all too much. We're exhausted. We've been doing this. It's just a constant striving.
I don't know if it's the fixer part or whether it's coming from that despair part, you know, that because it feels like there's the energy around the fixer part of like, come on, we can do it type thing, where this is just a bit of oh, just shut up, everybody, like just let's allow me to be, like, so that I guess it is a fixer part, but it's coming from that deep,
Yes.
like there's a sense of knowing. I feel there's like a sense of knowing around that part as well. It's as if to say like, kind of stop striving. We're not, but not in a like telling me what to do type way, but kind of you don't need to strive.
Let's check in here, as the great gift is that your system does know, it knows self so well. It knows this here and now. It knows this awareness. It knows this sense of acceptance, this sense of welcoming. It's that has deepened opened, matured in your system to the extent that it has. So we have, there's that. And then where it becomes so interesting is then they also have all of these parts that you've been describing. And so what is Joe's response in this, as when you're not doing a meditation workshop, or we're not having a dialogue like this? How does her system respond to the despair? God, I'm just exhausted. This is too much. Or the fixer, or the critic, or just that flatness and heaviness.
So
And
I just,
what I want,
sorry.
I'm wanting to suggest different ways of responding, applying or coming from the knowing that's here, the self that is here, this beingness that is here in her system, in your system, which is the core of EIFS, that which heals is this self, is this beingness, and just putting space for more of, what we call self-leadership, more of that self here. And what's coming up for you? I was gonna give like an ABCD, some ideas with that, and then we could look at different ones and see which way, where Joe's system goes naturally with all of this. What's here for you?
So when you were talking there, one of the parts came up with so like accepting all of the parts, and then there was a to do off the back of that for me, from my kind of fixer part, which was like, we need to spend more time in meditation. We need to spend more time. There was an action out of that thought, which is usually the case. So it all felt lovely, and just be more accepting. And I think the awareness of all of my parts has just increased massively over the last kind of like few months, which is where I think the exhaustion has been coming from, because I'm just constantly aware of the different parts of me. I'm probably more aware of them on a day-to-day life, in my day-to-day life, than I am aware, unless I deliberately sort of sit myself into awareness. So even that, that brings up that again, that, oh, you need to sit in awareness more, which but it feels like another to do, like another
Right. So there's that you're describing, these two. That first there was something that there's more acceptance here. And there's just, in these last couple months, there's more awareness of my parts, of what's right, of what's here. There's more awareness of it. So there's that, and then notice it. Then there was a part that's like, okay, great. There's more work. We need to do that more. We need to meditate more. We need to do more practices. We need to do more, and just that discernment between, as you were describing, there's more awareness of it. There's not stress. That this being, it's an absence of resistance, an absence of lack. It's just okayness, and then the part comes in. It's like, okay, there's something we need to do to help. So, like, part of the game is just what we're playing with, just this discernment from self and parts. Just being able to feel that difference more in your system, but just this awareness that's opening more and more in Joe.
Yeah, I thought so when that happened, then in that part piped up, it felt right just to be like, it's okay, you know, we've got this type thing, like kind of you can relax. And that didn't feel like something I had to do. It just felt quite natural to do that. So to be aware of it, but not kind of buy into what it's saying.
Oh, so there's this sense of this awareness, this here now, this beingness, this welcoming that you're just getting to know more and more as kind of with the background of what's always here. And there's a sense sometimes that when these parts come up, the fixer, the critic, the despair, these other parts that are wanting more, something different for Joe, the sense sometimes they can just rest here, the sense that they're being welcomed. Like it's okay that they're being here, they're okay, you're aware of them. Maybe then that's how a lot of the healing happens, right? Because these parts that are trying so hard, there's something else they need to do and they feel all the weight on their shoulders, and then they start to tune into, wait a minute, there's a presence here, there's something that's welcoming us. We don't have to do all of this. There's some little bit of okayness here, even right now. And so there's that occurs that I hear. And there's also this that there's also your system could answer these questions so fast about, but like, what is it that the fixer part wants? What does it really want? And it was just, oh, I know what it was. It's just, it knows what the parts are longing for. And so as the system just starts to hear those more, it's like a parent with a child that's just, I don't like this. The child is, whatever's coming up with its pain, the parent just hears, oh, it's just wanting love, connection, peace, okayness, wanting to know that everything's all right. As your system hears that, what's here now, Joe?
Just a real sense of peace and acceptance, and so the fixer part's still here, but just again, just feeling supported, I think is probably the word. And accepted.
Accepted. Beautiful. Beautiful. Even things like you mentioned that there was, oh, maybe there's ADHD here. Like there's a nice way, and I love this about Dick Schwartz's work with EIFS. Something like ADHD, it's just a description of parts. He says often a collection of parts that are trying to help. And it's just these parts that are trying, it's like, we want more happiness for Joe. We want more connection. We want more peace. We want more safety. As we just welcome them, hear what they're longing for. And perhaps there's not even a problem here. There's precious aspects of Joe that are trying to help. What would be useful, Joe, for us? Where would be useful for us to go with all of this now?
Just that it feels, again, it feels in a really good space. So what came to mind then was like, oh, you know, like I said, some other techniques on how to handle it when they're all up in arms, but then that also feels like more to do.
Can you hear the voice? When, oh, these are techniques to do what this is what we can do, problem solving and helping when they're up in arms, as we can hear that as a part, and then we can be aware of this that's aware of it. This that is the welcoming, is the here now, is the okayness.
Yeah, I've just realised that there's was if it wasn't busy enough, there is definitely a part that's enough now. But it doesn't feel like a fixer part. It's just like a, yeah, you know, that enough now feels a really loving and like enough with all the trying and plotting and planning and meddling and, you know, just like it feels like a wise part.
Mhm, mhm.
And I think that's where I think that was the part that was trying to, it wasn't the exhausted part, but it was kind of trying to show me the exhaustion of all of the parts in my system, and it didn't have to be, it doesn't have to be that way.
Where does this is enough now? This loving voice, feeling, where does that occur in or
That
around
just
you?
seems to be kind of like everywhere. It just seems to be like there's not a specific place. It's a yeah, it's out there, it's in here.
Mm.
It's not, it's not like, it doesn't talk. It's not like a voice. It's just calming.
As we notice, we hear this enough now, the calming, the loving, what it's longing for, this enough now. Is that different than what the fixer's longing for,
Yeah,
the critic's longing for?
it feels like it's it feels like it's trying to bring me home. I feel quite emotional actually. It feels like it's trying to bring me home.
And when you use that word home, tell me about that.
Um, to the truth of who I am. Just feels, I don't know how it feels. It feels really lovely, and uh, it's not. It doesn't feel like like in a specific place. And it's kind of there, and it's not.
Nice.
It's like a sense of
Huh?
it's. You mentioned about like a mother and a child. It's almost like it's okay. It's okay. Just let it all go. It feels like I'm in this empty, well, it's empty but full. It's just this really soft and gentle place of awareness. And I don't feel the low part in this moment from here.
And here, in this empty, full place of awareness, soft and gentleness, here. Is there any resistance here? Is there pushing anything away? Or is there just an openness? Perhaps the welcoming where even the flatness, even the heaviness, that can be included and welcomed in this here that we are.
Yeah. So I can feel that the the parts are here, but just almost like if they were once solid, they're just, it feels that they're almost transparent in this moment. But they're here, but they're kind of not active at the moment.
And if 5 minutes from now they became more dense and loud, is that from here, is that okay?
Yeah, because it is going to happen. But yeah, it is okay. That feeling of wanting them all to go away and shut up is gone. Well, it's not gone, but it's not active at the moment.
And as we hear that, if we hear the voice, it's just exhausted and we want these parts to be quiet and not be here. From here, is there space enough for even that can be here?
Yeah, and there was, oh, what came up then? There was, it was like like a knowing that they will come up, but that's kind of part of it, and that's okay. It's not them coming up that causes me the problems. It's my reaction to them coming up, I think.
And how about that reaction? About the fixer friend that comes up?
Yeah, and the critical part and the just I think I am getting better at doing that, just being more aware when they are here and not trying to get rid of them, but just trying to send them love and welcome them.
Mm. Or should we, if we exploring together for another 10 minutes with all of this, or as we, is there anything else, Joe, that would be helpful? I love how your system, it's just all, this is all just happening as you describe. Just because there's more familiarity, there's a little more welcoming towards the parts that resist, the despair, the critic, fixer, that you know so well. Anything else we'd like to look at with this precious system of yours?
So I don't know how this plays into what we're talking about, but when I'm in a deep meditation or I'm really, really, really present in awareness, my toes start to dance. And they were just then, when you were talking then, they were, I can, like you could see them. If you looked, you could see that how much they're moving, and I've never felt them quite as strong as that. And it feels like a really joyful part that's like, yay, by Jove, she's got it type feeling whenever I get it. Or like if I'm just watching TV and I come into the awareness, like it starts and it's like it feels like a party, but it's just really interesting because they're really animated. It's a real physical feeling. So that was just here too in that moment. I don't know whether you've ever come across that before, because it's the weirdest feeling. And have you? Have you ever come across that before?
You see it in me, Joe. You see it. It's like actually your eyes were closed. I was doing that a little bit. There's a little it like dances. Like, oh yay! But it's like it's the joy. It's like I don't know. It's like yes. It just feels so. It's like the joy part of the joy, or it just kind of comes and neat.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, it's it makes me feel that it feels like the message that it brings is like you're on track, this is good, we like this type thing. And but why it's in my toes, I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know
I
why
can
that
see
is.
you like wearing sandals so your toes can dance.
Yeah, you could watch it because it's real like this sometimes, and I felt it coming up sort of my lower legs. Then it really felt quite strong. Yeah, that was lovely.
Um, Eventually, what seems to happen, the way it's kind of easy, it's easier for us to celebrate the toes. It's like the joy that comes and the dancing. Oh, it's like a party. It's like as what seems to happen as we continue this deepening and seeing the innocence and beauty in our parts. And it's almost like when the fixer comes up and the critic comes up and the despair comes up, it's just another expression. Like it's, the toes, we end up seeing them almost so different than the toes. It's like, oh, wow, the fixer who just wants more happiness for Joe, wants more connection and peace. It's like, it seems to happen that way. It seems to open more and more to how you responded to your toes.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel yeah, just really, I feel completely different to what I did an hour ago. I feel really calm and peaceful and at peace, I think. Yeah, it doesn't feel like doesn't feel that there's anything else that needs to be solved, or not even solved, but needs to be in this moment. There doesn't need to be anything else in this moment than what there already is.
Mm.
Amazing process. Thank you. Thank you, Sid.
You're so welcome. And thank you because I think this can be really helpful for others with this, what we just did.
Felt very busy today. It felt very busy with parts. It felt that there was lots of parts. I think more so than the last one we did. I don't think there was quite so many parts activated.
Um, I love this for what we find with your system and also for being able to support others and just to make it that it's so normal and natural with these parts that come up. And I wonder if people will be able to relate to the toes. I love the toes, but it's like we
Let
all
me
can
know.
relate.
Yeah, let me
you
know if they
know,
do.
but
I'd love
if
to
they
know
do.
how it had dancing toes.
Dancing toes, I love that. But we all know the fixer, the despair, and the critic. I mean, every one of us know these. And I just so appreciate how you're able to speak about them, the familiarity, the clarity about the parts, what they're longing for, and then being able to know them from the awareness, and then and said it's really hard because they blend, and then there's just this heaviness and flatness and the resistance to that, and it's just I love hearing it's just you're not special, Joe. You're not special. This is just what you're describing. It's just all of us, all of us. It's so beautifully human. I just love it. And I'm just really touched by this. And let's do it again. Let's do it again. This is so sweet. It's been an hour where we got to explore together. It was lovely.
It was lovely. Yeah, it was great. Thank you. Yeah, and I'd love to. I think it's amazing. It's just that was that new part that came up, that real loving, the part that was like enough now. I've never met that part before, and that felt really special actually. I know I'm not special, but that part felt special. Um,
Yeah.
most of the
And
most of
Joe,
the part.
and you
Sorry.
are so incredibly, infinitely special. At the same time, I just love the universality of what you point to. And there's only one of you.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you so much.
So we'll WhatsApp and we'll do it again. And
Yeah,
so
definitely. Let me know when you're free. Thank you.
uh, see you later.
Yeah,
Bye.
bye. Take care. Bye.